Hey there, BookTube. Noah. Everyone who reads and must converses the channel. Today is going to be the fifth part and the final part of Roberto Bolano's 2666. This will serve as a final take on this because the fifth part is a very autobiographical portrait of one man, and that is who we know earlier in the book from the part about the critics as Benno von Archimboldi, the writer, the reclusive writer, or the writer that not much is known about, that they are obsessed with, and they come to Santa Teresa to try to find him. So when it comes down to it, this book is awesome. I mean, this book is awesome. Now, this book is not for everybody as well. I will say that Roberto Bolano writes in a style that is very unemotional. Given the subject matter of this book, it's very welcome that he write in this kind of style, this kind of more mentally oriented, intellectually oriented style, because if it was delivered from an emotional place, most of this book might just be unbearable, completely unbearable. And I'm reminded of a quote, I believe from Nietzsche, that is that we make art in order to not die from the truth. And this is the kind of thing that Bolano is doing with this book, as I see it as a whole, that we are put face to face with an expansive critique of the human condition in all of its terrifying and awe-inspiring horror and beauty. And that kind of thing we would not be able to take it if it wasn't delivered in a way that makes it digestible, or there is, you can sense very quickly when you read this kind of thing that there is a way that this could be delivered that could destroy you. I mean, completely destroy you. The overwhelming amount of horror that is depicted in this book, especially in part 4, the part about the crimes, which is a kind of nexus, a kind of central nexus for what he is doing, is unbelievable in its this book. This book has been loved so much and read so much that it doesn't want to stand up, even though when you look at it, it's like this brick, right? I always find that kind of funny, that the book doesn't want to stand up anymore. So the crimes and this narrative and where it gets to, I will say also that Bolano is amazing at endings. The endings of each of the parts are fantastic, and they really do just kind of set you up well for plowing on ahead. And part 5 really delivers, and in the way of that you don't expect. So we meet Hans Reiter, Reiter, right? So writer being a kind of onomatopoeia for a writer, an author, right? Which is what he becomes. Hans Reiter is Benno von Archimboldi. So the first half of part 5, he is named Reiter and referred to as Hans Reiter. And the second half, once he adopts the writing name of Archimboldi, then he is referred to as that for the rest of his life. And in the narrative as well. So we go way back. We go before any of the parts that we've read to World War One. Hans Reiter's father is in the war. He loses a leg. His mother and his sister and him live in Germany. They are Germans, all of them. And he, once he is of age, enlists in World War II, enlists in service in World War II. Now, he's not on the front lines of war as far as what we kind of see and know about as Americans. He's on the Russian front, or maybe not even the front, but he's on the Russian side of the war. And he sees battle, of course. He sees these kind of things. But he is not a major, not involved in major shifts in decision making battles in the war, things like that. It is very personal. Part 5. It is a very unemotional, autobiographical telling of a person's life. And for that, you kind of just get it. You're not immersed in his life. You're not, aligning yourself with any one thing about this person. It is that Archimboldi becomes kind of an everyman, I think. I kind of see that Archimboldi becomes kind of an everyman. Every person wants to achieve something. Archimboldi definitely has that with his writing career. And every person has all kinds of experiences: love, loss, tragedy, war, friendships. And we have all this. We go through an entire life. How this is buttoned up, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but I will say that it is done very, very well, and how the connections are made through the different parts and how it relates to the rest of the parts of the story, you won't see coming, and you're not supposed to see it coming. When I read the part about the critics, the first part, it struck me absurd that the critics were sitting there trying to figure out why Archimboldi came to Santa Teresa. Why would he come to Mexico? And they're trying to come up with these well thought out and just kind of valid ideas of why he might be there. And it's just absurdity, because it's like, well, wait, you don't know this person. There's no way you could possibly know why he made one singular decision in his life to go to Santa Teresa at that time. And that is absolutely true. The connections, the way of Archimboldi coming to Santa Teresa, they would never have figured out. You could never guess, and it is very satisfying. I mean, it's a great book. So Archimboldi is a character that, again, like an everyman, is kind of a not at home in the world person. And I think that there is a part of everybody who feels as if you should be doing something that you're not. You should be in a different set of circumstances than you are in. These kind of things. We have this kind of drive as human beings, striving for something that we feel inside, an ideal maybe, that is very seldomly realized in the world. And in that way, Archimboldi is very relatable, even if he is the way that his story is told and things are dispassionately rendered. So if you're an emotional reader, you might not like this book for that reason, just by the way that it's delivered and the way that it's told. And I don't mean an emotional reader like you easily cry, or and that too, you know what I mean? But I mean, if you're looking for emotional connection with the story or with characters, that kind of thing is not what this book is doing. What it is a cold look at the human condition, and it is maybe a little death obsessed, but when it comes down to it, there is no more certain thing in for life, right? For living, than that time will be uh, upon each and every one of us. And Bolano was acutely aware of that at the time that he was writing this book, because he was dying from a liver disease. His liver was shutting down, and he was uh, probably maybe had a modicum of hope that there would be a transplant or things like this, but it didn't work out like that. And who knows how long he dealt with that, year or two or years, you know. And so what is being uh, given to us here is somebody's epic master kind of work. And I don't know if I would go so far as to say Bolano is like a master writer. I will read The Savage Detectives. I have already picked that up, and I look forward to it, because this was really, really cool and really, really good. But his writing style is not for everybody. He is very much mind oriented, and so that is the kind of reader that's going to relate to what he is saying there. I hope you enjoyed this. Any ideas, any questions, any kind of comments, give them to me. And I definitely will be looking forward to talking through it a little bit in the comments if you want to, or having some kind of conversation about the book, because it was so unique, so different than anything that I've ever read before in my life. And I don't know if there is anything like it. That right there is a testament to a work that deserves its place in literature, right? And I definitely do think that it deserves its place there. Bolano did something very, very special and unique with this book, even if it might be jarring and borderline horrifying to most readers. Thank you very much, BookTube. Catch you on the next one. Bye bye.